All right, we are live. Welcome back to Stock Tricks with Nick for this week's Midweek Movers live stream. I was looking through my notes and I think it's been almost 3 months since I did my last live stream. Between that, I had an actuarial exam that I was studying for. Hopefully my last one. We'll get exam results in maybe 4 to 6 weeks. And then I moved back to my parents' house for a little bit to kind of offset the leases, and then moved out to where I'm at right now, Flagstaff, Arizona. So been trying to get as many videos out as possible, but really the last 2 months have been tough to do that. But now that I'm here, settled in, really excited to get going on all fronts, stock, finance, all that good stuff. So if this is the first time you're joining, welcome to the channel, Stock Tricks with Nick. I do mostly, I would say 80% stocks, 20% personal finance stuff. Want to get into the personal finance stuff a little bit more, but I'll do this live stream midweek, either Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on how the week plays out, a trading recap on Saturday morning, and then on Sunday, I'll put a breakout watch list video together, which will be a short video of 15 or so stocks that are nearing breakout points that I'll be setting alerts for and possibly trading in the upcoming week. If you haven't checked out that, you can go to the channel, check out that video that I posted on Monday this week because we had the shortened trading week, but that list has been doing pretty good. Today, we'll be covering AMC, the KOSS, GameStop, all the short squeezes. That's back in style right now. Obviously, that's soaking up a ton of money. So it's important to focus on where is the money flowing to and what kind of style is working when we're trading. So I broke up the watch list that I have for tomorrow and Friday into 2 different setups. One is going to be short interest. So these are all stocks that have 20% or more short interest. So if the AMC, GameStop, that all carries over into tomorrow and Friday, these are all stocks that I want to be focusing on that haven't already exploded, aren't already super extended, so there's a better risk reward for the trade. And then also just general pivots. I've got 15 stocks that I'm going to try and fly through that are all nearing possible pivot points. And once I get done with my watch list, I'll be going to the comment section to see any stocks that you guys want me to take a look at. So I already see we have Palantir in there. Let me drop a little comment. But really use the chat for stocks that you want me to break down, or any questions that you have about my trading strategy, about where would I put a stop here, how much are you risking, anything like that. I really want to get the chat going because that typically is when we have our best live streams. So anything that you guys want to see, any questions you have, use that live stream chat. If you're watching this after the live stream ended, leave your comments in the comment section and I'll get to those as well afterwards. Do me a favor, if you enjoy the content, please leave a like on the video. That helps this push it to more traders, and subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot to me. All right, quick disclaimer. Anything that I talk about today is not financial advice, not stock advice. This is all for educational purposes only. I'm basically using this as a way to break down what I'm seeing in the market, kind of clear my head and get my plan together. And hopefully this helps you out, especially because when I do kind of make mistakes when trading, I like to show that because it pains me to kind of talk about that. So then I'm less likely to make those mistakes again. And then when we're finding big winners, we've used the chat before where someone has recommended 3 or 4 stocks and 2 of them have really taken off. So good community we got here on Stock Twits and on the live stream. This is my current holdings. I know you can't really see the last one. It's BOX. So right now, getting back into investing or into trading after my exam, I was down about, I want to say it was 15 to 16% off my account balance high. So at this point, I'm trying to take smaller position sizes and then roll up the risk. So you get in, you have the stock kind of bounce, move higher, move your stops to your entry, and then you could take another position where your risk overall for the portfolio is going to be the same, but you're increasing exposure as stocks are working for you. If stocks are working against you, well, then you're going to get stopped out of positions. You're going to keep your exposure small, and the next time you put on a trade, you're going to do so with a smaller size. I should be, yeah. So this is what I got going on. Way too many stocks right now, but they're all smaller position sizes. So when I do see success in these stocks, I move my stops to my entry and then take the next trade with larger size. So far the week's been going pretty good, but we'll see how we wrap up. So full transparency with this channel. So that's why I'm showing I'm 60% invested, and here are the stocks that I'm holding. And then here are the stock lineups that we got going for my watch list. We'll do the short interest stuff first, just because we have the AMC and GameStop short squeezes going on right now. So I'm not going to read off all of these because we'll get to them in the chart breakdown in a second, but I have them all written down here and we'll be good to go. Any questions along the way, again, leave it in the chat and I'll get to that. All right, let's see here. Got to switch. I got a new camera that hopefully it doesn't ruin the stream. If the stream is getting slow, just let me know and I'll switch back to my old one. I think this does take a little bit more like data, so still trying to get everything figured out. But I did want to jump in and let's start with AMC. Obviously, that's going nuclear right now. Huge breakout. Let's measure this from the 24th. So a 430% move up. Gave up a little bit towards the end of the day, but I mean, that's still a bullish green bar, lots of volume. Only one gap in the chart too, so blow off top scenario, you typically have a couple gaps in the chart as we move higher, and then a spike in volume and a red day, which that's what Thursday kind of looked like here, because we had a spike in the volume, didn't have any of the gaps that you usually see in breakout, blow off tops, but then higher volume and you get that kind of burst and then reversal. But Friday, inside day, today, that was Friday, sorry. That was Friday. Tuesday, inside day. Wednesday, today, explosion higher. And if we drill down to the 5-minute chart, this is what, if you're going to be trading these breakout stocks that are already extended and you're just playing on momentum, you really need to drill down to a smaller time frame. And you could have done that kind of right off the bat. We gapped up here. Let me zoom in a little bit so it makes sense. Gapped up, sideways action, another kind of bounce, pulled back, and then kind of the high through here would have been a possible entry point if you're just like a momentum player and you're just trying to play on a hot name. I didn't trade this personally, but I like to see after these like strong breakouts, how could I have traded them? So I kind of get that experience, and then in the next possible situation, maybe I do trade it. So drilling down to the 5-minute candles, we pulled back to the 20 period moving average, bounced back to that 20, and then got out on kind of more volume than you saw in the last couple 5-minute periods. So that really kicked it off, and then it just kept going. So that was your one entry point on AMC for the day, like a lower risk entry point. I say lower risk. It's an extremely risky stock, especially if you're holding overnight. Right now, it's up 8.7% after hours. Maybe it continues higher tomorrow. Maybe it reverses tomorrow. And that's why risk management is so important. I can tell you what I think is going to happen in the market tomorrow. The next person on TikTok or Twitter can tell you their opinion. But when it comes down to it, the opinions don't mean much, if anything. It's really, how are you managing your risk? How are you managing your portfolio and your emotions? Because if I'm wrong, and I'm wrong a lot, if I'm wrong, I want to be wrong small. And if I'm right, I want to give that position room to run. So always using stop losses, very important, especially if you're trading momentum names like this. You don't want to be kind of a bag holder at the top here. Take some profit on the way up, and then protect your entry once it gets going. KOSS, another one of those short squeeze names that really just popped, up 68.6% today. In GameStop, let's run to that one really quick, and then we'll get to the watch list. So GameStop, I had that on a breakout watch list. I think through here we had kind of a nice quiet area and then popped, and then it kind of reversed lower. But once it gets going again, it gets going. So 13% today. It's got earnings. I don't think that's unconfirmed. So whatever. So with that said, short interest is very short squeezes are the play right now. So instead of trying to play growth stocks or my typical breakouts, I want to change with where the money is flowing, where the style is working. So what I did, I went on FinViz today, looked up the stocks over $5 with less than 100 million shares of float. So the less number of shares, the more it'll pop if it gets short squeezed, and a short interest of 20% or more. And from that, there was like, I don't know, 100 stocks or so. From that, narrowed it down to 10 stocks that are kind of near pivot points that we can focus on. First, we have Big Five, BGFV, and this was one that I actually traded today. I had this on the watch list, going into the day because I missed this. Obviously, I missed the breakout here. Then it flagged out to the 8-day exponential moving average, got going again, pulled back on extremely light volume. Very little volume, back to the 8-day moving average. That's what you like to see. This could have been a pullback buy where you just bought it right over the high, 31.99 from May 28th. I didn't take that. It came up on my scanner yesterday after hours. So this is one that I was like, okay, there's 1, 2, 3 daily highs right around the same price. Let's see if it can get going. And then during the day, it actually opened and went lower back down to this 8-day moving average and then took out that buy point. So once it broke over yesterday's high, 33.27, I think I got in a little bit early on it, like 33.09, but this was a trade that I wanted to get in. I think it was a high tight flag. Let's do a little measuring. Oh yeah, easily high tight flag. And with a lot of short interest, kind of mixing two different strategies that I like together. So if this pulls back lower on low volume, this is one where you should set some alerts and see if it can get going again. Otherwise, if it just keeps ripping, then go on to the next one. Don't chase a breakout. Next, we have COWN. This is another high short interest name that I am currently in. This one reversed today, down 3%. Very little volume on the way back down, but you can see, kind of zooming out, 200-day in an uptrend, 50-day, 28, all doing the right things. Had a pullback off the high of 25%, so nothing crazy there. Since then, average true range tightening up, good to see. And we have the 50-day moving average as support. My stop is just under the low here, so if we go any lower, I'll get stopped out. 5% stop, I'll take that. Always want to manage my risk, always limit it, so I don't emotionally trade and stay in a name that just plummets. So with this, very little volume today in the sell-off. If this turns around, it's one that has high short interest, and I would be looking at yesterday's high, 41.25, as a possible buy point. CVM. So this kind of has the KOSS look where it really spikes and then everyone forgets about it. Spikes, everyone forgets about it, and it gets going again. This one up 11% today, might already be a little too extended. Yeah, see, if we get a 2 days of low volume pullbacks and then the short squeeze is still on going into next week, then we'll look at the high 25.22 as a possible buy point. Or if we open lower, take out the high, that could work as well. Just really high short interest on this one, and it's not too far extended now where maybe you get an intraday play where you go to the 5-minute chart, you drill down and say, okay, here's where I'm gonna find my risk reward and take the trade. CVM, Flowers, 1-800-Flowers. This went down a little bit after hours, but you have a nice pivot through here. So we squatted a little bit. This must have gotten, I put this list together at like 2 o'clock, so probably squatted a little bit after, or went over the pivot point after that. But I was looking at this range right through here as a possible buy point. Don't love the heavy volume on the selling here and here. So this is maybe a forced trade, one that fit the strategy, but one red flag, two red flags right there. But if we zoom out, it is above this main part of the volume shelf when it gets going, so less resistance on the way up, heavy short interest, one to at least set alerts for. Next, you know what, after the short interest, we'll jump to the chat and get to the stocks that you guys want to see, because if you're probably busy too and want to get what you need out of this live stream. So FOUR, this is one that I traded a while, a couple times through here. Since then, we had a pullback. Let's measure that. 27% down, bounced back up over the 50-day moving average. Then things got nice and quiet. Look at the volume. Very, very quiet through here. Average true range basically measures volatility of the daily candles, getting less and less. So as price is tightening, volume is tightening, high short interest, this could be a quality breakout if it gets going. I don't like the long upper wick here. That kind of ruins the lower entry. So let's try and see the 5-day chart, 5-minute chart, see if we could drill down into a better spot. Yeah, maybe right through here. I know it's not perfect, but 94 and 93.9. So maybe around that 94 range. If we open lower, take that out. You do have this volume gap here, so let's kind of measure that. If we get over there, that's only 1%. Yeah. So drill down in the charts, see if you can get any cleaner entries on that. INVZ. Come on, this is one IPO, kind of starting to base out here. A roughly drawn triangle right there. Price is consolidating, volume nice and low, ATR coming in, and a lighter traded stock, only 370,000 shares traded today. So what I'm looking for, break over yesterday's high, 1068 is the possible buy point on this one. I would really look for a volume spike as it goes over that buy point too, but we do have kind of two daily highs stopped right at the same spot. So if we can buy this in context, then that could work. OSTK. Try and pop out a new one. All right, OSTK. This is one that we all probably traded in 2020. Look at that monster move up. Then I think this was like a 60% pullback. Yeah, 63% pullback, got ugly, ripped out of the base, and then kind of pulled back and started to base out again. Excuse me. Higher short interest on this. This one must have got going at the end of the day because it did take out that buy point that I was looking at. The high here, 92.47. Let's see if we open lower, take out yesterday's high, or today's high, sorry, 93.85. OSTK, PLBY is next, Playboy. I bought this one today actually on a very strange entry for me, but where it undercut some of the lows through here, and then I bought as it came back over these two lows because it had high short interest. I already did some of the research. This has been in a very strong uptrend, started pulling back, basing out here, a name that a lot of growth stock traders have been in lately. So it's been a kind of a winner for the strategy that I trade. Wanted to get an entry on this, and along with the heavy short interest and those short squeezes working, took a questionable entry with a stop below the lows here. So if you're not in this already, then we're looking for just a kind of pullback buy, either over today's high, 44.75, or over yesterday's high, 46.60. RHE, this is one that an alert set off during the day because you can see, I mean, basically perfect resistance on that diagonal. So if we can get over today's high, $13, nice round number, then this could get cooking. Million shares traded today, so even though it looks non-existent, this does seem to soak up the shares when it gets going. Let's see, what did it run last time? Yeah, 700%. So this is one where I have alerts set below 13. Hopefully we can get going. And then first resistance would be this volume shelf at around 25% up. And if it clears that, I mean, you manage the risk. You take some profit on the way up, but definitely one to watch. All right, next is UAVS, another one that I traded on the way up here a couple times and then ignored on the way down. Seems like it's basing out here. It's over the 8-day and over the 20, but below the 50 and 200. It got out on volume on the 26th, then 2 days low volume pullback, 2 days kind of sideways green. Heavy short interest on this, up a little bit after hours. I would be looking for a break over the highest point here, 537. I know it's 543 after hours right now. If we could open lower, take out 537, that's a possible buy point. And you have a move of 40% to the main part of the volume shelf here. So lots of room to run if it gets going. All right, let's jump to the comments here. We have Palantir, PLTR. I think this is another one that's heavily shorted. I could be wrong on that. Let me check after the video or leave it in the chat. But yeah, this is one that's starting to get interesting again. Has based out. You had like these 3 pullbacks. We undercut that. And as someone who's not in the stock at the time, you like to see that undercut because it shakes out all the weaker hands, anyone with stops under the lows, and it's a shakeout and possible rip here. So shook everyone out, then big buyers stepped in right around earnings. Then since then, strong uptrend, good volume on the way out. Ideally what we see here is just a quick pullback to the 8-day or to the 50-day moving average, low volume, and then we have 2 daily highs right here as a possible buy point. If we just gap up tomorrow, I wouldn't want to chase it. But I mean, there's a gap here in the chart, very little volume above. This is definitely one. I should have put this on the watch list. I'm going to write it down now, actually, Palantir, PLTR. That I want to set some alerts on and be prepared for a trade there. So thank you for suggesting that. Let's check out Roblox. This is one that's just in a really strong uptrend. I'm kicking myself because, man, right through here is such a perfect entry. 521. And I was home that day. I don't know why I didn't take this. I mean, that's as clean of an entry point on an IPO base that you can ask for. Right at the open, 33%. Man. And in this market, that's tough to, or no. Yeah, 35%, whatever. That's tough to get. But that's a clean breakout, but not something that we're going to be chasing at this point. You do have like a mini flag there. Maybe if we jumped into the like 10-day chart, you have that tightening up and then going. So that, I mean, that's one thing you could do. Jump into those 5-minute charts, 10-minute charts. This is 15 right here for each of the daily, or each of the candles are now 15 minutes. And get an entry point. For me, I'm a little bit longer term of the trader, but on IPOs, you definitely need to dive in a little bit quicker than daily candles. Man, I'm just looking at this like, Nick, why did you not get in? All right, SSY. All right. I don't know the story on this. Is this a heavily shorted name, maybe? It kind of looks like that, where short squeeze, forgets about it, short squeeze. I'm going to check the short interest after this, but yeah, you got 1, 2, 3 kind of daily highs at the same-ish point. 1.5 million. I want to see the volume when I hide the... Okay, so we did have good volume today. Yeah, this is... I mean, this isn't one that I typically trade, right? You want a lot of things coming together, but in this instant, if it's heavily shorted, and you can put, like, let's focus. 10-day, can you drill in and, yeah, it's gonna be tough to get a like 5 to 7% stop in here. That's my only qualm about this setup. GOVX. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please leave a like on the video. That helps YouTube push it out. And since I took a break, YouTube has punished me and is not pushing out my videos as much. So any interactions, any comments, likes, subscribe, share the video, that really gets me back rolling, and I appreciate that. GOVX. 800,000 shares traded today, squatted at the end of the day. On the 50-day, let's zoom out. Yeah, oof. I mean, this is one that has done a bunch of reverse splits, obviously. I would need to know a little bit more about this, but you do kind of have a confluence of indicators. You got 1, 2, 3 daily highs. You got the downward diagonal, or yeah, 1, 2, 2 daily highs. Got the downward diagonal. So a break over today's high, 557. Let me check that again. 557 could be buyable. Let's see, if you buy that and you put your stop under the low, that's 12%. That's too much. Yeah, you could do an arbitrary like 5% stop, but you're more likely to get stopped out on that. All right, let's jump back to I got 15 stocks that didn't come up on the heavily shorted list, but really quality setups that wanted to roll through really quickly. So first one, AMEH. This is just going to be a flat top breakout. I know it kind of poked its head out on Tuesday, pulled back today, pulled back flat, very little volume, 100,000 shares traded. Even on the heavy volume days, only 300,000 shares or so. So maybe not one that you take a large position with, but prices tightened up, volume getting a little bit quieter as we ride that 8-day exponential moving average, and ATR is just starting to come down now. So break over yesterday's high, 35.74 is a possible buy point. My alert is a little bit lower than that. Always set your alerts just a little bit lower so you can react and then put an order in, see how volume's coming in, instead of just putting an alert at the price, and then if volume rushes in on a breakout like that, you're gonna have to chase it up a couple percent, and you don't want that. Next we have EXTR. This is one that I posted on Twitter, Stock Trick Nick there, so give me a follow. Totally forgot, I did start an Instagram, Stock Tricks with Nick there, and a Facebook page. So if you're not big into stock twits or TikTok, you guys can follow me there, and I'll post the same like TikTok videos where I do 3 videos each day to watch the next day. So if you have Instagram, follow me there. All right, let's see, EXTR, yeah, so zooming out, very clean uptrend here. Quick, kind of like a inverse head and shoulders. So we have left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And I posted this yesterday that I was thinking about getting in, but it never broke the high. So we're gonna keep that same entry point. Lower volume today, traded sideways, inside day on the candle. So everything's kind of contracting, ATR is coming in. So break over Friday's high of 1160 is a possible buy point. EXTR. Let's go Facebook, nice strong uptrend. This needs a couple more days, I think, but we have 1, 2, 3 sideways action days. Actually, you can kind of call it this whole week. But look at the volume on the up days versus the volume on the down days. Heavier volume on the up, lighter volume on the sideways down. That's a bullish signal. ATR coming in. So if you bought with the high, put your stop under the low, that's only a 2.6%. So that's decent risk reward right there. Golf. Here's another kind of flat top entry that might have already gotten going today. Lower volume, 214,000 shares traded. ATR coming in. I would love to see this. It feels like it's getting wedged up a little bit. I would love to see this pull back, and then we put this on the breakout watch list for next week. But it's right there, if not already going right now. So wanted to alert you guys. Really heavy volume coming in on the days that it's breaking out. Things get nice and quiet on the pullback. And it's only pulled back to the 8-day. It hasn't even pulled back to the 20-day yet. So let's see if we can pull back to the 20 and really get going. Otherwise, this might just rip going into tomorrow. HIMX is another one that I've traded before. This was the day that I got in. Tons of volume coming in on that breakout. Nice. And then just went parabolic. Since then, this is another one where we're setting higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, and then we undercut the lows through the entire thing, I think. Let's see. Maybe not this one day. No, not the one day. But basically, undercut the lows in these two pullbacks and then ripped off that. 3 days, kind of around the same price. And today, we pulled back, undercut the previous 2 days, undercut the 8-day moving average, and then rallied to close right at the possible buy pivot point. 1335, yesterday's high. That's what I'm looking at. HIMX. The next two I bought today, IT. It does not get much tighter of a chart than this. We had a 22% breakout, so nothing crazy, but good volume on the way out. ATR just dive bombing as this tightens up extremely well. We had one day where we opened lower, really shaking out the traders, so you like to see that. And then it got nice and quiet. Took the trade today, basically probably at the high. I got in at 235. High was 235.44, but not doing anything wrong. You could still, yeah. So a break over today's high would be a possible buy point on this one. Quieter name, not gonna rip your face off or anything like that. But a 20% pop and then sideways action like that looks good to me. LQDT. This is one that I bought on the pullback here. Let's see, had a 70% pop and a 21% pullback. I'm sure if you measure, is that 83? I bet you could get a high tight flag out of this. 87, maybe not. Anyway, really good breakout, heavy volume, no volume coming back down to the 8-day. Coming back to the 20-day moving average. Could have bought at a break over this 3-day pivot through here. Thought about it. Was already putting on too much exposure yesterday as things were working and I was rolling up risk. So today, when we had a really low volume pullback to the, let's see, what was the, yeah, right through here was when I bought. So what price is that? $25.15. That's when I got in, but inside candle today. So a break over yesterday's high, $25.99, $26, nice round number. That's definitely one that I would keep an eye on. LQDT and MRK. Let's see, 21% pop there, similar to IT. We had a pullback, and then I love this undercut. Broke the 20-day moving average, ran right back, closed above, sideways action since, lower volume, boom, boom. So you have this 3-day pivot. It's probably not worth it. 13.11, 13.20. Probably just go with 13.20 as the buy point. Next we have Ppbi. Come on. What else do you guys want to see in the chat? I've only gotten 3 comments. What questions do you have? Anything like that helps me out. All right, Ppbi. Zooming out here. Really strong uptrend, basically since last March. Based out and then got going. Had a pullback, cup, handle through here. Dead volume today on a sideways day, second sideways day. And then, come on. I'm honestly just looking for a break over yesterday's high. Let's see, 46.76, 46.83. So break over 46.83. Again, this is not one that's going to be a 30% mover in any day. It went up 30%, very nice, very cleanly from February to kind of mid-March, so a month and a half. But if the next move is this clean and I don't have to worry about it and just have money trending up, I like to see that. Ppbi. This next one, PRTA, this is just going to be a pullback buy. I had this on a couple breakout watch lists before. Took a trade through, that was drawn terribly, through that, and then got stopped out on this red candle. Since then, basing out, basing out, basing out. Then it took off. Good volume on the way out. Little volume on the way back to the 8-day moving average. Today, I guess, let's see, slightly lower lows, 1 cent lower. Otherwise, basically an inside day on even less volume. So if this can just check back, a break over today's high would be a possible entry point, 28.28. Again, just a classic pullback buy on a name that broke out. Let's see, let's measure this. 46%. I completely missed that move. Was not paying attention to this stock before because it was just kind of in its base. Didn't love that entry. Wouldn't have taken the trade anyway. But now that it got out and came back on light volume, that's what makes it interesting to me. PRTA. Next we have REZI. This is one that I posted either today or yesterday as well on Twitter. I think this was yesterday. 225% move up through here. Since then, we had a pullback to the 50-day moving average. That seemed to hold support. Then we undercut the 50, and it undercut and ripped up through here. Take note of the last 4 days. Heavier volume, light volume on the pullback. Heavy volume, light volume on the pullback. Break over yesterday's high, 31.34. That's going to be my possible entry point. I think that 31.67, you could probably draw a slightly diagonal line there of resistance, hit 1, 2, 3 points. So for today. So I'm really focused on this one and LQDT. I already have LQDT, but this is one that has the power, has the setup, has been basing out and doing all the right things volume-wise. All right, next we have Roku. Got 4 more for you guys. So gonna need you to drop other chart requests in the comments. All right, Roku, zooming out. Obviously a 2020 winner, and then we had that sharp pullback. Let's see, 40% pullback, and then this is another one that undercut right here and ripped back over the 50-day moving average, and then low volume in this kind of flat area through here. I'm just looking at a break over Friday's high. That would be 357.39 as a possible buy point. If it gets over that, it gets over the main part of this volume shelf, and then there's a little gap up through here. That could be 11%. You move your stop to your entry point, take out the risk, move that risk to a new position, increase your exposure, keep the risk the same. That's how you put odds in your favor when you're a breakout trader like myself. ROKU. Let's see, SE. This is another one that I personally own already. Zoom out here. 200-day, kind of holding support there. Slash, little 3-day slash to the 8-day moving average, undercut it, and then bounced. So I got in. I actually think I got in on this like lower volume pullback somewhere through here, but would have bought the previous day if I would have saw it on time. So let's see, what was this high? 259.07. That was the entry point that I would be looking for. Since then, kind of glided sideways up a little bit. So break over yesterday's high, 262.89. That's a possible buy point. Low volume since it's been trading sideways, and really one that like the breakout traders that I follow on Twitter are talking about again. 2 more. We got Shopify. All right, Shopify, similar to SE, but a little bit lower in its base, so that's why I like SE better, holding better relative strength than Shopify, but did undercut that 200-day moving average, got out on a little bit heavier volume, And since then, sideways action, volume coming in, relative strength staying up, and ATR coming in. So if you buy with a break over the high in this point and put your stop at the low, that's 6%. Maybe you could split your stop even, do 3%, 6%, do a 4.5% risk. That could work too. That's Shopify. Nothing crazy about that one. Let's see if there's confluence of indicator. Not really. I always like to draw a diagonal line as well as a flat top to see if multiple like systems are trying to buy at the same price. I usually buy with just a flat top breakout. Don't love the diagonals, but there are some diagonal resistance traders out there. So if I'm buying and I know they're buying, and then the short squeezers are buying, and the volume indicators are all showing the same things, it doesn't mean the trade has to work out. We're just adding probability to our trade. And there's no absolutes in trading. That's why you use stops. That's why you take some risk out when you're profitable. Last one I got here is STKS. Zooming out here, 250.28, all in the right order, doing all the right things. Had this breakout. I think this was only 20%. Pulled back to the base. And then we have a couple daily highs right at the same price through here. Low dead volume today after undercutting the previous 2 days lows. And closed over the 8-day and the 20-day. So break over yesterday's high, 1092. That's a possible buy point. Thinly traded name though, can't get a lot of size on it. All right, that is my watch list. Let's go back to the comment section and take a look at what you guys want to see. Any plans on meme stocks tomorrow? I'm not going to personally buy like the AMCs here because this is already so extended. Don't think that it's going to, for me, for my strategy, for my risk tolerance, for my portfolio, not something that I'm going to be trading. But that's why if you were here earlier, we went over 10 stocks with very high short interest that we're kind of combining, short squeezes are happening. That's the focus. Can we find that near a pivot buy point that we can get a 5% stop, a 7% stop on? So I don't see myself personally trading AMC, KOSS, GameStop at this point, but we're going to look for different trades in context with that short squeeze happening. It could continue to go up. I mean, this candle isn't bearish by any means. This one right here looked kind of gross. I thought that was going to be the blow off top and then we reversed lower, but I mean, that shows you anything can happen in the market. There's no absolutes. That's why you have to keep strict risk control. NUE, this was on my watch list. Did not get in myself, but good job on that. Let's see. But today's move got me upset. Still holding. What's your take on it? All right, let's see. Tons of volume on the way out. Pretty heavy volume on the way back in. Bounced at the 8-day. I mean, so you got in probably at the open, I'm assuming. If so, you have your stop 4%, 5% down at the previous lows. Let's see, what did it pop? Popped 5%. Yeah, so at this point, it depends where you're at with your portfolio and how you've been doing. But what I like to do when I'm speaking for myself right now, my portfolio is down more than 10% off the account balance high. So I'm kind of trading defensively at this time, where once something goes up one time my risk, I'll take a little bit off, 10%, 20% of the trade off for profit. And then I'll move half my stop to my entry point just to say, okay, this was a winning trade. I don't want it to then start working against me. So in this case, it went up 5%. My stop would have been 5. So I would have probably gotten stopped out at half my entry, taken some off kind of at the end of the day yesterday, but still sticking with half at the stop under here. Because, I mean, it's not doing anything terrible right now. The volume on the way out was heavier than on the way back in. It bounced at a key moving average, so nothing crazy if you're still holding. There we go. Maybe move your stop or half your stop to the previous day's low or today's low, 103.94. That way, you're just taking risk out, and then you can use that risk on a new position. Increase your exposure, keep the same risk, and then if the market just rips, then you have more exposure. That's how you start making multiples. All right, let's see. DDS. I knew someone was going to ask about this. I completely missed this one. Totally kicking myself on this because I've been tracking it since like this day right through here. Sideways, sideways, sideways. Did kind of bounce over a daily high here. Could have been an entry point. And then yesterday got going, then it squatted, and then today just ripped off the high. I mean, this almost looked too good to be true. You had the confluence of yeah, I'm kicking myself. Because I had this on the watch list, had the alert set, just didn't pull the trigger, had other things going on. Just a miss on my part. Heavy volume on the way out, up 18%. You're definitely taking some profit through this bounce or through the breakout. Move your stops to your entry, take out the risk on this. I'm not chasing at this point. I did set some alerts lower to say like, okay, this is a name that gets out on heavy volume 20% when it pops. So something that I want to be interested in if we pull back on lower volume, but I'm not going to chase up here above a Bollinger Band, anything like that. Just not my strategy. You don't have good risk reward buying an extended stock like that. AAME, oh wait, sorry, I should not. GPS, gap. All right, let's see. 40% move off there. Heavy volume. See, I don't like this heavy volume selling. That I know there's earnings here. That worries me a little bit. It's under the 50-day moving average with a big volume gap through here. Gap, no pun intended. I would not want to mess around in this range. Now, if it can bounce and start to tighten up later on, sure. But I mean, ATR has been increasing. You see the volatility getting higher. Heavy selling, heavy selling, heavy selling. This is one day where it popped. And even that day, some of that volume was selling off into the squat here. Just too many red flags for me on this one. There's better setups out there, I think. Last plug as I go through the last two here. If you liked the stream, please leave a like on the video itself. Share this with any traders. I'm getting back to the live streams either on Tuesday or Wednesday during the week. Trading recap on Saturday, breakout watch list on Sunday, and I do have another Trading 101 video where I teach 3 of my friends who have never traded before how to trade. So if all the things that I talk about today seem way too extreme, you don't understand any of that, that's fine. That's why I'm doing the Trading 101 series. So subscribe to the channel and follow me, StockTwits, Twitter, TikTok, and I just made an Instagram and Facebook page, Stock Tricks with Nick or Stock Trick Nick on Twitter. All right, last two here, HYRE, tons of volume on the way out here. Was this a... What stock was this before? Anyway, heavy volume on the way out, kind of a heavier volume sell-off there, but not crazy, a little pullback. Yeah, so this is one, I'm gonna check the short interest on this one because I feel like this was one of those like popular stocks, maybe higher short interest, but break over yesterday's high. Let's see, can I get 5% on that? 8%. Let's drill down to the 10-day. Oh, there we go. So see, here's a lower pivot when you drill down to the 10-day, right through there. And man, you could get a really tight stop, 3%. I'm gonna keep an eye out for this, set some alerts on this one. Not doing anything bad through here. All right, last one, AAME. Just at $5. Yeah, I usually don't trade stocks under $5. This might be just one of those heavily shorted names, and it's kind of through the pivot point. I'm not going to be buying this because it's already kind of extended. Maybe it'll set up in a 15-minute candle, 5-minute candle that you can get an entry on, but nothing that I say on this one will change it. Not my entry point. Just keep a stop loss whenever you're trading. That's all I can say on these names. All right, so that is going to be the live stream. Thank you for, let's zoom back here. Thank you for joining me. It's been too long since I've done one of these. Really enjoy it. So I'll see you guys on Saturday for a trading recap, Sunday for the breakout watches for next week. Subscribe and like the video.